Yep, I do. Some people don't. I don't. Oops.
I don't know if we have any more. Do we have we're pause here for a second. Corey.
My guest is Mike Giuliani, and he's my husband.
Do we have any other guests, Rotarians in the room?
We have visiting again, John LaFontaine from the Hickory Daily Record, editor, and a proud graduate of Appalachian State. Yay!
Welcome. Any other guests in the room? Neil?
President Mark. Have my guest today, Andy Anderson, who works with Drew Van Horn in our advancement, an alumnus of Lenore Round, an outstanding men's basketball player in his own day, an exceptional men's basketball coach, and the father of a multiple state champion son down in Cataract County, close to the shore, and an all-around great guy. Please welcome Andy Anderson.
Any other guests? Do we have any announcements? Any Rotarians have any announcements today? Lisa?
I have two announcements, and they go together, but we're getting $2 out of it.
Her choice, not mine. I told the four-way test applied.
It works. Well, I think everybody has something at their table, and we're dealing with something called AutoOne. It is the 3rd annual, and if you have a car that is a European car, you still can get in on the show. Some people have asked me what the tickets cost. It's free. So it's $35 if you want to get in, but anybody walking in is great. Along with our outdoor event, we also have an indoor show. And several people have told me they're going to be out of town on Saturday when both of these things are happening. The car show is just one day. This is for 8 months. So it's really exciting. There are only 2 shows in this country, and we're one of them. Yay! Yay! So make sure and come. And we want to thank the Arts Council, and I am not wearing my glasses, but hold on. You're at the wrong event. Can I use them? Oh, I can't. Kathy, you have to tell us. Hold on.
I think we need another $1.
This might cost $1. It was partially funded by a Project Pool grant from the United Arts Council.
All of that.
Oh. Through the North Carolina Arts Council with funding from the state of North Carolina and the National Endowment for the Arts, which believes that a great nation deserves great art.
Yay! Thank you, Kathy. That was great. Thank you for the money, too.
Oh, I don't have $1.
It's all right.
I'm not sure anybody wants to follow that. Does anybody else have any announcements? Any other announcements? Wanted to remind everybody, we're Carolina Cycle Challenge coming up October 4th, Sunday, October 4th. We really need to get, I think I originally said about 10, but I was told we need about 16 to 20 volunteers. So if people could sign up, there's still time to get your t-shirt, so if you could sign up. Also, we had some email problems this week. I appreciate Bruce trying to work those out. Charter, for whatever reason, was not liking the press release that the city put out about, now I'll put on my glasses, Hickory's active, well-crafted, supports Carolina Cycle Challenge. So we were not able to send that out to everybody. I do have a hard copy here, and I can send it if anybody's interested in receiving that. Also, the Open World program is looking for hosts. You may remember last year, Suzanne Trollin hosted our Russian guest and did an absolutely amazing job with it. And she would like to take a year off. So if anybody is interested in headlining this or taking over this program, let me know. Here's some information on it. I'm sure she would be happy to mentor or help somebody through the process if somebody's interested. We do have a board meeting on next Thursday at 11 o'clock here at the club. So if anybody is interested in attending that fun event, It'll be at 11. It does count as a makeup as well. So please join us there. Also, please make sure that you are checking the Spoke for your opportunity to participate in Rotary, whether that is as a greeter or running the raffle, taking lunch money, whatever it is. But it really, Dan does a great job for us, but it kind of puts him in a tough spot when people don't show up. If you cannot make it, please take it upon yourself to find somebody to replace or to switch with you. So if we could help us out there and check all that out. Time for the Sunshine Committee report. Ernie Mache.
Okay, birthdays that we want to celebrate today. Kathy Greathouse, who's sitting at my table there. We won't say how old she is, but she says she's older than Jeff Foxworthy, who shares the same birthday with her. And then Bob Conkin on September 8th. Is Bob here? No? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. We were looking for you in the back and couldn't find you before. Since Kathy shares a birthday with Jeff Foxworthy, I've got some quotes from Jeff Foxworthy. First, on a serious note, believe it or not, Jeff Foxworthy once said that find something in life that you love doing. If you make a lot of money, that's a bonus, and if you don't, you still won't hate going to work. Secondly, if everyone in their home lives where God is first, friends and family are second, and you are third, you would never have an argument. Now on to what everybody expects from Jeff Foxworthy. You might be a redneck if the Blue Book value of your truck goes up and down depending on how much gas you have in it. And you might be a redneck if you think the stock market has a fence around it. A couple more quotes for today. A successful man is one who makes more money than his wife can spend, where a successful woman is one who can find such a man. And laugh and the world laughs with you, snore and you will sleep alone. And our final thought for today comes from Albert Einstein. When you're courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity.
Thank you, Ernie. And it's now time for Philip Reed to introduce our program.
Thanks. I know most of you have read the bulletin, and it explains who our speaker is today, so let me give you a couple of little bits of info about him. On my second or third trip to Hickory when my daughter and her family moved here, somehow she and my wife wanted to go shopping, and their suggestion to me was to take my 2-year-old granddaughter, go out to the airport. There was some kind of air show. Well, I got out there with this little one in a stroller, some Cheerios, because I knew I could feed her Cheerios to keep her happy. And actually it was a great show. All kinds of military planes, helicopters, things flying. She was mesmerized, and old granddad enjoyed it too. So I've been very interested in the Hickory Airport ever since, and then I bought a home on 31st Avenue Court Northeast. I'm directly on the path most days into the airport, so I can tell you what time everything comes in and if the wind changes when they take off. But I met the airport director a while back and invited him to speak today, and I said, give me some information about you that's not in your bio. And he came up with a couple of things like graduate of South Colorado High School, married a girl from Hillenbrand, has 2 grown sons, and he did tell me with a big smile 3 weeks ago he became a granddad for the first time with a new granddaughter. And it's funny how guys get to take credit for that, grandparents, when, all we get to do is smile. But he did tell me one good story. I said, tell me something embarrassing that happened to you one time. And he said, well, he does a lot of tours of the airport as part of economic development or for people interested in what the airport does. And he said on one of these tours, he was talking to people walking backwards and managed to back into a steel post, and said it almost knocked him out, and he was doing good to stay upright. But if that's all that's gone wrong out there, then I think we have a great airport. So help me today, please, to welcome our speaker, Airport Director Terry Clark. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the lunch. I appreciate being able to come out and talk about the airport. Anytime that I get out, whether we have groups out at the airport, or I get to come and stand before a Rotary or a Kiwanis Club or whoever, whatever, talk about the airport, I enjoy it because I try to educate. I want people to know what kind of airport we have. And like you were saying, it's hard to recover when you turn around with a group of people and you run into a pole and about knock yourself out. So hopefully I won't do that today, but I do like to walk around and talk. And I have brought a slide presentation because I love to show off the airport and what we have going on. And we're going to go through this because the other, I don't know if it's a problem I have, but sometimes when I get in front of a group, I've been known to, how was it put yesterday? I'm very passionate about the airport, so I can go a long time. So I won't do that to you today. Hopefully we're going to keep it at about 15 minutes and we'll go right on. This first slide that we have up here, Mark's going to help me because actually when we talk, July or August time frame, I was trying to put together a slide presentation. I wanted to be able to, when I get out in front of a group, I wanted them to be able to see the airport, see what we have going on, different aspects of the airport, and that's what we've tried to do here today. Mark's going to help me. We got a couple of videos. This is the first time I've done this on one of my presentations, so if we have a few foul ups, I apologize for that. But we're gonna try to get through this and see what we all have going on here. This first shot here, and again, is welcome to the Hickory Regional Airport. Down up here in the top, this is where most of you who have been in Hickory, we have had a long line of commercial service. We do not right now, but this is our commercial terminal building that is still going. There's going to be a lot of slides of it. This is actually a shot looking down off of, actually it's out of my office looking down on the north ramp where all of our private and corporate aircraft come in. And this is a picture here of our control tower. And yes, we still have a control tower. Open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And we will talk a little bit more about that as we go. Now, one thing I like to do, guys, when I'm talking about the airport, if anybody has any questions, please stop me during these slides, interact, talk back. There's probably a lot of great information here. I go back 33 years with the city of Hickory at the Hickory Regional Airport. And it's been my home, it's still my home, and I hope to go for many more years. But there's a lot of information in this room, people that's flown out years past. And I'll go over a little bit of the history, but if anybody wants to stop me and we'll talk about whatever we're going through here. This is actually a video we tried to put together. This is a lot of the questions I get, and you'll notice here we're trying to get real high tech. We're doing videos now. So we did this. This is our main runway. This is a small aircraft taxiing out on taxiway Bravo, and this is a transient corporate jet that's landing on our approach of runway 24. Actually, it just came right over Mark's Ball Stadium right there coming in. A lot of the questions I get, you know, how many planes land and take off out of Hickory? Daily. Well, daily it's very hard to do that. You know, in the wintertime, if we've got bad weather or things like this, right now we're over 30,000 operations. And when I say 30,000 operations, that's landing and takeoff. That's a little bit low. I would like for that number to be up about 40,000. But again, it's very hard to give an average per day. Some days there could be 150 planes land and take off. Then other days there could only be maybe, if we've got bad weather, thunderstorms, snow, whatever, they could only be 10 or 15 or 20. So it's very hard. But on average, we're going to do somewhere about 30. We're building about 10% a year, so I want to get that up to about 40,000 operations. This is another picture of a takeoff. Actually, it's the opposite end. It's a different aircraft. You can see it. This is down toward the west end. That's the approach end of runway 6. That's another corporate jet taking off. We have a lot of jet traffic. We've had an increase in the last 3 to 4 months. We've had a cargo outfit that's bringing in car parts, and they're coming in like 4 and 5 times a day, 4 and 5 times at night. So we're working around the clock basically, unloading cargo off planes. That's another great thing that's helped us out tremendously. A little bit about the history. I'm going to go back because I have been at the airport for over 30 years and it is my home. Actually, a lot of people, the airport and a lot of the airports in North Carolina,
back in the day, in the late 30s and the early 40s, were military training bases. That's how they started. We opened in May 7th, 1940. The other thing I find really interesting, we had 2 unpaved runways at that time. Actually, when I came to the airport in Hickory 30 plus years ago, we had 3 runways. People don't realize that, but we had 3 runways. August 2nd, 1941, Pennsylvania Central Air came in. And then the airline that I know of, and a lot of you might remember, is Piedmont Airline, a true great airline. That after I showed up there, they had just departed. I'll go very quickly. Deregulation happened in the late 70s, and then they pulled out. When I actually came to the airport, we had Sunbird Airlines, if anybody remembers Sunbird in Atlantis. So we had Sunbird in Atlantis. Atlantis lasted probably up into the late 80s, and then it was Sunbird, which we remember back through the 80s, 90s, and part of 2000s, which was US Air Express, CC Air. Our FAA control tower that I talked briefly about, and we'll have some slides here on it, was actually opened in 1973, and the tower is still open under a contract tower. And there could be a few questions. I'll briefly talk about that in a moment. This is one of my favorite pictures. It's actually a picture that's up in the FBO building, Fixed Base Operations, but it's in my office. This is one of the first hangars located on the south side of the airfield. And if you look at it, you can hardly tell, but I go back all the way to the day of the FBO name, Cannon Aviation, Catawba Valley Aviation, Profile, and River Hall. So I was there during that time frame. We talked, I was talking to Carl Klein, we were talking just a little while ago. Another great person that I knew that the field's named after was John Terrell. And he was actually, during this time period, John was running not only for the military, but also training for aircraft, for people to learn how to fly, training. That's a picture of Capital Airlines. Actually, I've got that picture there that's in our terminal building of Capital Airlines, Piedmont Airlines. Then on the airline service, if you remember about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, we had ASA who was flying for Delta, and we had that for a period of about 7 months. It didn't quite work. It was something that we were doing. We thought that Hickory to Atlanta, and we just did not work. This is a configuration of our runways at Hickory, and I'm going to talk real briefly. Runway 624 is our main runway, which you see the jets taking off and landing. This is the west end, that's runway 6. And back here is the approach into runway 24. And this is runway 11. Longview would be back over on this section. And then the river back here, the approach into runway 19. You can see that. Now, one thing, and I'm getting out of order, and I'm going to try to keep this very quickly. One thing that we have planned that I'm very excited about is we're going to be doing a runway extension. This runway right here, runway 624, 6,400 feet long. It's 150 feet wide. We're going to be bringing this runway up to right here. We're going to actually go out 600 feet, and we're going to do an extension. We've been approved by FAA for funding and also NCDOT. Now that will not happen overnight. That's a very expensive project. It'll probably take us 3 to 4 years to be able to complete that. But that's going to be very good. That'll bring our runway, our main runway, runway 624, up to 7,000 feet. We actually did planning for this because we have a 1,000-foot overrun, which is a safety area that the only thing we have to do is come in and put a taxiway and a runway extension out. So we're excited about that. That's another thing that will help us attract more businesses, corporate aircraft, larger aircraft coming into the area. Oh, let me go back. Runway, also our secondary runway is runway 119, which goes this way, I talked about. It's also 150 feet wide, but it's a shorter runway, 4,400 feet long. When I was talking a little, yes, sir.
Once you have the 7,000 feet, will that allow those planes to go transcontinental without refueling?
That is a great question. That is basically why we're doing that. Beautiful question. Why we are going up and adding, well, let me see if I can go back here. Why we're going to add that is exactly that reason. If you look at it on a corporate perspective in CommScope, some of our corporate pilots, when they're going East Coast, West Coast, especially in the summertime, and I'm not gonna get into all this, it's weight of air, the weight of the aircraft and the heat. You get into July when it's real hot. Well, that 6,400-foot runway will not give them the capacity to be able to take on enough fuel. So what we're doing is we're giving them that 7,000 feet, just that extra, which will help them to take on more fuel to be able to go East Coast to West Coast. But that's basically in a nutshell. You're correct. That will help us. And then again, that helps us with attracting more businesses, more corporations that they can do that. This, I mentioned a little while ago, this is sort of our midfield. This is an intersection. This is runway 624. This is runway 119. And you mentioned when I walked into the airport 33 years ago, we were actually landing on our third runway. And you can see right here, this was our third runway. Some of you might remember that. That's 11 and 29. We closed that runway about 83, 84 time frame for development purposes. We were out of room. We needed to build more hangars. So on the west side of the airport, you can see here 3 large hangars. Back over on the south side of the airport, we have actually 1, 2, 3 hangars over here. These are some of our tenants that are out at the airport. I'm not going to name all of them. Our Crosswind Cafe, and you can read here how many we have at the airport, and all these guys are doing a great job for us. Crosswind Cafe, I'm going to come up on them in a minute. They're going to show a picture of them. They're open. Our restaurant in our commercial terminal building, we invite you to come out. I think I see some of the in the audience that's been out to our restaurant. They do a great job for us. Right now they're open, let's see, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3, and Saturdays like 8 to 2. So we're open 6 days a week. We've not quite got to where we can do 7 days a week, but we'd like, another one I get a lot of compliments on for Hickory Hall. I don't know if anybody's used that service or not. They're actually running van services from Boone to Hickory, Hickory down to Charlotte Airport, and they're trying to pick up to where they're actually going to be going Greensboro. Our Hickory Aviation Museum, I want to touch on that, but you can see CommScope, you can see some of our, this business right here is Plane Fix. It's a, you got to repair planes. So we have a maintenance facility on the airfield where they repair planes. Crosswind Cafe, again, you can see their hours, I think I was right, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3, and Saturdays, 8 to 2. And their business has been doing very well. Also, I'll put my salesman cap on. We have a huge room out at the airport that we do events. If anybody comes out and needs to use that room, you can call my office, and it holds about 60 or 70 people. The Crosswind Cafe, if you use them for catering or drinks or anything like that, there's no cost, and there's a small charge that if you do not use them, you're going to have a function there. So that's been very successful for us too. Our Hickory Aviation Museum, another venue that we have that I'm very proud of. Part of my job is to get people to the airport, to educate people, to let people know what kind of airport we have. And these guys have done a tremendous job for us. They're volunteers. If right here, and this is our museum, some of you have been here. If you've not, please come out. It's open Saturdays 10 until 5, Sundays 1 until 5. They've come in here. This used to be, some of you in the room might remember, the old flight service station in the west end of the commercial terminal building, right here. The flight service station left us, and that's what got us back into the control tower business about 15 years ago. Well, this had become basically a junk room, just to be honest with you. These guys came in, recarpeted, did every bit of this, painted the walls, and opened up a museum. Now, what that's done for us is on Saturday and Sunday, and this goes up and down according to weather, time of year, but we get about 40 to 50 people out each day on Saturday and Sunday to look at the museum and to see what we have at the airport. So I'm tickled to death. That's a great, if you figure that over a year's time, we're getting a lot of people to the airport. This is the west end. There is our museum here. We've got our static aircraft here that they have got on loan from the military, and they have painted and washed, and they take care of all this. And you can see some of this. Our volunteers do such a great job. I do some volunteer there, but they do such a good job. If you come out, they can tell you all the history behind all these military aircraft. It's really a great tool. And it's free. Well, see, yeah, terminal building, again, this is just another picture of the front of the commercial terminal building. Again, we still have our restaurants, our rental cars, we still have our museum, we still have Hickory Hawk. So it's still got a lot of business there. Another shot, this is out of our control tower, another angle of our commercial terminal building. And you can see back out, this is actually runway 119, and you can see the approaching runway 624 here. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about this slide here. The history of the airport, and again, I think I said this for the third time, going back 30 plus years. This was one of our highlights. We, as the city of Hickory, of course the city of Hickory owns, and that's who I work for, the Hickory Regional Airport. All the time that I've been there in that 30 years, we've had actually tenants that took care of services that we provide, which is called FBO services, fixed base operations. I named them not long, just a few minutes ago. We had Cannon Aviation, we had Catawba Valley Aviation, Profile, and Riverhawk. Well, we had a company back in 2010, 2011 that was providing that service for us, moving aircraft in and out of hangars, fueling aircraft, doing that. That didn't do a great job. I'm gonna just try to dress this up as easy as I can. And they went into bankruptcy, and it wasn't good. Well, on December 8th, and this was after a long period of time, we were in bankruptcy court in Charlotte, and that was different. We were awarded to take over all the FBO services because this company was in bankruptcy and could not do that. So the judge ruled in our favor, and we took over all the FBO services. Now, we were planning on this. We had this all planned out. We had employees, we had everything, because on July 9th at 7 o'clock in the morning, I needed to make sure that our base customers, our transient customers, whoever was flying in and out of the airport, there would be no change of service. Nobody knew that there was a different company taking over, which was us. I needed to be no problems. And we were very successful that day. One of the busiest days I can ever remember. So we started that morning at 7 o'clock, and we took over all the services. And we closed that night at 7 p.m. and it was one of the most successful days we had. Ever since then, it's been very good. We've been very pleased. It's helped us to get the airport where it's self-sustaining, that are operating, that we can operate and take care of the airport. So that was one of the things, and you probably read some about this in the news and things going on. And we were very pleased that we would be able to take over all the FBO services. After that happened, we, of course, hung our sign out, which again, we've always owned the airport. The city of Hickory has always owned Hickory Regional Airport. We put our sign out. Now we are the FBO. And this trend is actually, it's going across the country. More and more either counties or municipalities are taking over their services so they can control this. I'm very much into customer service. I'll talk just in a minute a little bit about this. This is, oh, hang on, let me go back. Oh, wait a minute, Mark. This is, well, I'll get it in a minute. This is our north ramp. You're looking at the back side of the FBO building, fixed base operation. And this is what people see. This is what people flying in on G4, CEOs, they might be from California. I don't know where they might be, but the first impression they get of the city of Hickory, the region, is this. So they pull in, and you can see our control tower sitting up on the hill. I'm going to show you some slides. We have a very, it's a different type of lobby area than we did for commercial service, more of an executive type, where these people fly in. That's the first impression we want them to see. We want them to feel at home. This is another, this is actually a cargo jet that's pulling in. And you'll see what some of our services are. We'll have one of our guys that works on the line crew. That's Tony, and he's marshaling the aircraft in. He'll be parking the aircraft, and he'll be taking orders from the pilot. That day, they actually had to unload cargo off the plane, get the plane ready to go back out, put fuel on the aircraft. Now, got these slides a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a little work on this, but this is actually when you walk in off the ramp where that plane just parked. This is actually our lobby area that you come into. We took over, we cleaned it up, we painted it, we made it very nice. We made it very appealing to the executive because that's who we're catering to. People come in off corporate jets. You'll notice something else we did, which is unbelievable. I tell this story because people can't believe it. We put a popcorn machine in. You would not believe. CEO can be coming through, he can be late for a meeting, but he's gonna stop. He's gonna get, he or she's gonna get him a free thing of popcorn. So we did little things like that, and it really, customer service wise, it really helped out. We have a little area outside that people can come and picnic. Okay. In this shot here, you can see two transient corporate jets that are parked on our north ramp. But right here's our fuel truck. One of the services we provide after they come in, they marshal the plane in. You can see a fuel hose going out. I apologize for that. We've got an employee here putting fuel in the aircraft and one on the other side. And you can notice, because I'm very customer service, you'll notice we give the red carpet treatment. And that's what I'm all about. And my employees know that. Our other FBOs that service Hickory, they didn't do that. They didn't bring a red carpet out, and they didn't welcome them to Hickory. Well, we do. And that is what I call the red carpet treatment, and that's what we do. Every time the plane comes in, you'll notice we've got red carpets there. Welcome to Hickory. What can we do for you? Because we are customer service. I have to tell a story real quick. How am I doing on time, Mark?
Got a couple more minutes, and then ask for questions.
I'll tell a story about this. This is right after we took over the FBO, and again, I apologize. It's not. There's actually, these are these are two presidential helicopters that have stopped in for fuel. I've got them here, the shot here, and there's also other military helicopters up this line and here. There's actually 8 helicopters there. And these guys are taking on fuel. So we brought them in, and you can see down in this shot, we've got the truck up here, we're putting fuel in. I'm selling fuel, it's a Friday afternoon, I'm the happiest person on the planet, you know. City of Hickory's really gonna be proud of me. And I'm pumping like 5,000 gallons of fuel here. Well, I'm standing right here, and I'm walking back and forth, I'm trying to get these guys waters, I'm trying to do everything I can. Well, Robert Reed from Hickory Daily Record, which I go back with ever for Robert calls me. He said, Terry, he said, and I don't even know if Robert knows this story. He said, what's those I said, well, they're coming to get fuel. He said, I'm coming over to get a picture. I said, come on. I'm not thinking anything about it. This guy's standing right here. There's another one here, here, here. They're standing here with weapons. These guys are serious. There's no kidding. And I'm walking around excited, happy, and Robert calls me again. And I'm standing now beside this guy. And he said, Terry, I'm up here on the hill. There's a parking lot up here, a hill. And he said, where can I get a picture at? And I'm standing here and I'm thinking, I said, Robert, your best shot's up here on the hill. Well, this guy looks over at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, that is not smart. This man has a gun. And I said, he's taking a picture. And he just smiled. And I thought, you know, not real good. But anyway, that was a great afternoon. They were in a hurry. There's a huge thunderstorm coming. So we sold a bunch of fuel, so I'm really happy. We'll go real quickly here. There's another military aircraft helicopter that came in. And I wanted to take a shot of that. Actually, he's going off of our north ramp, going on to taxiway Bravo, which goes here in our main runway 119. Airport Fire Station. We are still, even without commercial service, by the FAA terms, we're 139 airport. What that means is that we do everything to keep our 139 certificate in the instance that commercial service would ever come back, that we would be ready, that we hold on to our certificate. So we do a lot different than most airports sitting around us, and we've got great airports. I don't throw off on airports, but we're in a different world than, say, Lincoln or Statesville or Foothills or North Wilkesboro, because we meet the 139. And doing that, we have to have a full-time fire station. We have personnel there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if we did have an incident, whether it was a GA, General Aviation, or if we had any kind of commercial flights, we would have that. We built this building. There's actually our fire truck personnel are here. We actually, in this side of it, you can see one of our snow plow trucks push a lot of snow during the winter. If we have snow, we have all that here. I'll speed up. Our control tower, again, it is open. It's been a contract tower for the last 15 years. There was a lot went on about 2 years ago with cuts that you remember in the news. And without getting into a lot of detail and time, that's all behind us. Hopefully that's all good. The FAA takes care of the tower. They pay the contractors that are there. Again, 7 days a week, 7 in the morning till 9 at night.
Terry, why don't you see if there's any questions? Make
Yes.
sure we get any if there's any questions.
Yes,
We only got about a
please,
minute
if
left.
you have any questions, yes.
Okay, just check. Just real quick, because I know that there's a lot of parents and grandparents in the room. I noticed one of the things that you didn't mention is the Young Eagles program that the airport has.
I'm getting ready to, because, and that's very good, thank you so much. We do have the Young Eagles program that meets, and this program is so good. You can bring out children. They come out the second Saturday of each month. I always get that wrong because it was the first, but now it's the second Saturday. We're flying, if I had to guess on an average, we're probably doing 40 to 65 kids. And it's a great program. They can come out, learn about the airport, take a flight, go around the pattern, and it costs nothing. And that's a great way. So if, I try to get that word out all the time. So if anybody wants to come out, Young Eagles program, come to the commercial terminal building, Saturday, the second Saturday of each month, okay? I know, thank you for helping me with that. Real quickly.
Dave,
I just have one thing, on the website, you need to have somebody update that because it says Piedmont is still providing commercial service.
Okay, I'll do that. That's something we do, and we do need to do that. We need to look at that a little bit better. This is another thing that we did probably about 2 years ago, 012 project. This was huge for us. We put in a new fuel farm, and of course that's what we do. We sell fuel, and we sell a lot of fuel. This right here, there's 2 types of fuel in aviation: Jet A, 100 low lead, 12,000 gallon tank, 10,000 gallon tank. That was another huge success. This is something that I'm very proud of. We've also put in a self-fueler. This thing works just like you pull your car up to a service station. You can get out right over here. This is actually one of our base customers, Bill Dobson. He was one of our first users. They called me from the tower and they said, "Hey, you got your first customer." I'm running across the street trying to get a picture of this. And this is Bill Dobson. He's taking his credit card. Here's you pull a hose out and you put fuel in your plane. Right now, if we're not, we're very close to being the lowest in North Carolina. Our fuel prices have been very low, and we're trying to keep it that way so that we can keep a volume of customers coming in. I'll go out some days and there'll be 4 and 5 aircraft lined up out here to get fuel. That's very good.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
Okay. Again, real quickly here, this is one of our fuel trucks. Talked a little bit about one of our paving projects we're getting ready to do. We just done our north ramp, taxiway Bravo south ramp. Extension I talked to you a little bit about, and thank you. I appreciate you guys inviting me out here. I love to talk about the airport. Yes, sir.
Would you tell the club why everybody out there talks funny? Okay, I'll tell the club. This is the only part of Hickory that is based entirely in Burke County. We both married girls from Hildebrand, and I just had to get that.
I appreciate that. Carl likes to give me we go back a long way.
John, one more question?
Yes.
Okay. Terry, I just wanted to plug one of your tenants because she is a real spokesperson for the airport, Susan Van Fleet.
Yes, Susan's such a great
Van Fleet
person.
Aviation is a teaching organization, etc. But we had one of the best family birthdays of my life 2 years ago because we went out and paid her to take our grandkids on 3 birthday flights. We went up, we flew the planes ourselves. They didn't tell you because I was flying one of them. That was really scary. But she's a wonderful spokesman for the airport and a great service.
And she does. She runs her own flight department, and she does a fabulous job. And she's out promoting the airport so much. So
The aerial photographs.
aerial
birthdays,
photograph, I
fun
can't
stuff.
say enough. Okay.
Terry, sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
Thank you. So, Terry will be here afterwards if anybody has any other questions. Bob, come join us up here. Big money on the line, I'm sure. Don't forget about putting money in the cart buckets. if you didn't have an announcement today, and we still do have card pins if anybody wants to donate $10 to the cards.
We took in $62.
$62,
$229.
$229. There's probably 50 cards left, give or take.
I'm not sure. Here's the limit.
323321. The last 3 digits are 321. Looks like we got a winner. All right. Pick a good card there. 7 of hearts. Congratulations on the free lunch. Let's close with the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do.
Truth. Talk, serve. Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will it be beneficial to all concerned?